Pet Graveyard. Have you ever heard of a game called Pet Graveyard? Of course you haven't. Only a few have ever even seen it. It was released for a new handheld game system called Noma Game System. It was released in Japan in 1985 and Pet Graveyard was released in 1987. It was originally Pet Cemetery when translated to English from Japanese. So anyways, the NGS, Noma Gaming System, wasn't released in the US until 1987, the same day that Pet Graveyard was released. The NGS was outlawed the next day. Whatever the matter was, it had to be Pet Graveyard. They said the device itself was magnificent, but the game was just too much. You had to be a lucky bastard to own one. Probably only 100 exist, and maybe 50 or more copies of Pet Graveyard. I know this because I did my own research. I've been fascinated by the NGS. I've never owned one, nor wanted one until now. I don't know, it just came to me one day. I've scavenged around garage sales and other game shops for it. No luck, there really isn't a market for them. I looked on eBay and Amazon, nothing. I looked at my local pawn shops, nothing. Then I remembered like an aha moment. My friend had one, and he rubbed it in my face, though he never got to play it. It was on a night when I slept over and he decided to play it in the morning, but he was too scared till the morning he found out what could happen if he was caught. We were only like 7, and both of us were paranoid. Anyways, I went to go ask my friend for it. He told me he might have it in his attic. We went up there and pulled out an old withered box with Games written in some kind of marker. He pulled out a Chutes and Ladders game and some checkered boards, and then he pulled out a bubble-wrapped system with an unopened game case to Pet Graveyard. "Take it, I never plan on using it," he told me, and I thanked him for it and went on my way. I drove home and popped some of the bubble wrap that held the game. This preoccupied me and I realized it and snapped back to the matter. I opened it. It was a box that contained a red Game Boy-like system and a red charger, nothing else. I thought this was odd that there was no warnings or instruction guide. I guess they didn't translate well, but still. So I turned on the fully charged system and NGS in big letters appeared along with, "Please insert a game cartridge." I unwrapped the game. It was nothing but a black case with the white words, Pet Graveyard. Okay then, I didn't mind it. I opened it and a small squared blank cartridge. It was a greenish yellow colour. I slid it into the slot in the back and the game loaded up. A screen popped up. It had the words Pet Graveyard on it and some disclaimers and stuff like that. I hit the start button, not literally, but whatever. The game loaded up. You were a man in a Pokemon-like world. Your character seemed happy. Their main objective was to bury dead pets and cremate some. It was a disturbing concept, but I rolled with it. There are missions that you can do, each one more difficult than the last. It was normal for 13 missions, and then some weird things started happening. People were paying you to buy disturbing things like body bags, limbs, and counterfeit goods. The character starts to seem more and more depressed. On mission 21, you are approached by a man who gives you pills. He asks you to take them, and then your character starts to seem happy. This made me feel happy. I grew a huge smile on my face, as did the character. He buried bodies and other illegal drugs and such, and grew happier, as did I. He walked into a room and took out a knife and stared at the screen for a good minute. His smile grew wider the longer he stared at me, as did mine. He took the knife and drove it deep into his heart. Slowly, as blood came gushing out, he fell to the ground, and a dark crimson pool of blood started to form around him. The man is seen in a light brown hue, standing in the corner. His facial expressions become more and more menacing every second. I couldn't help but smile back. His eye began to become dark red and bloodshot. Then, the game went back to the title screen. I burst out laughing. Wow, this game was amazing. I can never imagine why they would outlaw such a fun game. You know what sounds funny about now? Knives. The word just makes me laugh. So does heart. Oh, heart, knives, heart. Maybe if I put one in mine, this moment will be with me forever.